Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, October 6th, 2025. I am Dave Biddle, very happy joined by Dan Rubin. All right, the beat goes on for the Buckeyes. Man, I think we all predicted a convincing win. We predicted Ohio State to cover. Did anybody predict 42-3? Man, I went into this game with high expectations. They continue to exceed my expectations, Dan Rubin.
I can't argue with anything you said, Dave. It's getting to the point where you're almost having to tamp down your expectations, both of the team and of the individuals. But it's been a very enjoyable tamping.
Absolutely. So I do a column every Monday. I just posted it on Bucknuts. The 3 biggest things that I learned in the game. I would do the post-game show, what we learned live. And every Monday I do the 3 biggest things that I learned. So I'm going to do that every Monday. So if you guys want to get on Bucknuts, that's definitely one of the more enjoyable things that I get to write through the week. So I enjoy doing that, and that's on Bucknuts right now. And I appreciate everybody who hopped on What We Learned Live. We had a big audience for that. It was also good seeing some of you down at the game, like Buck Rational, Asian Posh Doreen, and many others. So I appreciate you guys coming up. I'll meet people, Dan, and they'll say, hey, I love the show. And then, like, to a man or woman, they say, still basking.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So I love people coming up. I had one guy come up and say, I saw you before. I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, you're not bothering me. Like, I love hearing from Bucknutters, so don't ever think you're bothering me.
You guys are shareholders, man.
Yeah, it's the exact I love meeting all the people out there. So good hanging out there. All right, so got to admit, Dan, wasn't a big Joe Montana fan. I always respected him. But, I was too young to remember the first time he beat my Bengals in the Super Bowl, the 81 season. I remember the 88 season vividly. Like, I was in like 7th grade. That was a fun Bengals team with Icky Woods. So I'm thinking about it right now. And I'm getting mad. Bengals had that game locked up, and then stupid Joe Montana just goes boom, 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 all the way down the field. Bengals still should have won the game if they would have easily caught it. The one time Joe Montana threw a bad pass that game, he threw it right into I won't even say the guy's name. I feel bad because he's passed away now. But we used to not be very happy with him.
Right.
Right in his bread basket. He dropped it in the end zone. And then the next play, boom, John Taylor for the win. So anyway, didn't like Joe Montana for that. Boy, Julian Sayin reminds me so much of Joe Montana. I mean, the similarities are striking. They're about the exact same size. Montana was listed at 6'2", 205. Sayin's listed at 6'1", 208. I think Sayin's a little taller than 6'1", but whatever. About the same size. Very quick processing skills, very quick release, pinpoint accuracy, and unflappable poise. Am I out to lunch here?
No.
Comparing a redshirt freshman quarterback to one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history?
Yeah, so I didn't want to be too hyperbolic. I'm not saying in any way that I had some premonition of being this good, but I've said this over and over about, I talked to a couple people in the summer whose job it is to know NFL quarterbacks. And they're from California, and they spoke so highly of Sayin that interest was definitely piqued. And then you add in what we were hearing out of the program, and the name you heard the most in terms of kind of just skill set was Dwayne Haskins. And the late, great Dwayne Haskins, lest we forget, maybe not a great pro quarterback. He threw 50 touchdown passes here and was spectacular. And then about 2 weeks ago, I was talking with Pat Murphy about this, and I said, look, when they go to Washington, I think they're going to cut it loose. So I think he's going to be the star of the media the next Monday. And Pat, we think that was going to happen. He did an incredible feature story on Julian, which we may rerun. It's that good. Then they didn't cut it loose at Washington. Came back, and now they've cut it loose. And what we were talking about, and even I think I said this on a conference call with the staff, he was 9% more accurate than any other quarterback in the country after the Washington game.
Based on PFF, right? Because people are going to be like, oh, that his percentage based because they factor in drops, right?
No. This is not even, yes, I can give you those numbers too. This is just you drop back to pass, you throw the ball. What percentage of the time does your pass get to the
Oh, you are talking
receiver?
about his completion percent. I thought you were talking about
No. This is called accuracy percentage.
Yes.
I've got the other two numbers for you too. He was at 86%. The next highest was 77%. His completion percentage is 80%. His adjusted completion percentage, which is what you're talking about, which means had everyone caught every pass he threw accurately, would be 86. So that is ridiculous. And yes, they weren't cutting it loose, and he was probably throwing more high percentage throws, but you're still 9% better than everyone else who's doing it. And it's the first 4 starts of your career. So you're dealing with something special here. And then I love the Joe Montana comparison in front of size and such. And I will say this. I do remember those 2 games because I'm just a year or 2 older than you, Dave. But I was young. I was very wise for my years. Just kidding. That's the catch by Dwight Clark, last sporting event that made me actually cry. I almost punched my brother in the face. I remember he thought it was funny. He was younger. I'm like, it's not funny.
That's a good way to get punched in the face.
No S. And then 88 was my senior year in high school. And I'll just say 2 words: solar motel, and the rest. Thank God we didn't have phones back then. But I digress. His arm is stronger than Joe Montana's. I know that's going to sound like blasphemy.
It is. It is stronger.
I have never rooted for a quarterback. And I've been rooting. This is so age 7 on, and includes some really, really good quarterbacks, college and pro. The only other guy that I remember being this accurate, meaning the ball just goes, it sounds so silly and basic. When he releases the ball, it goes exactly where he wants it to almost every time. Just think back to last year. Will Howard, that was not the case. 3 throws a game, they'd pan back to Will's face and be like, I don't know where the hell it went either. It just kind of came off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All due respect, I love Will Howard.
Exactly. We'll always love Will Howard. Right.
I got a room here for him anytime he needs, free of charge. But he did not. So to put it that way, I've never seen a more accurate quarterback. I've never rooted for one. Now, could the bottom drop out? And I guess, but I don't think so. Maybe it's symbolic that the first throw he threw was a dart on 4th and 1 that was dropped, by the way, by Max Clare, who looks great now. So, I mean, and I sent you the tape from the weekend, the video that was from PFF. And now those 2 guys, they do a great show. Whether you agree or disagree with PFF, everyone can make their own decisions, right? In terms of how they do their stuff. They do some basic stuff, though, that is not arguable. And then these guys do watch a lot of tape, and they have a good sense of everybody in a comparative sense. And he said what I said to somebody, next year's draft, it's going to come down to, it's going to sound Jeremiah Smith or Julian Sayin. Now, that sounds crazy. It's not crazy. If you were the hand-picked quarterback for Saban, and then you come here and get this tutelage, and you look the way you've looked. And by the way, guess who's coming? Julian Sayin is a redshirt freshman, I think.
He is.
Bo Jackson took no redshirt. Jeremiah Smith, true sophomore. And nobody looks at that. I haven't heard one national pundit be like, boy, they're really young at the skill positions. The talent is so overwhelming and never even gets considered. So I could not be more impressed. My expectations were sky high, and I could not be more impressed. I can remember the 2 throws he's made this year where I'm like, that wasn't very accurate. But he's thrown the ball over 100 times. You shouldn't be able to remember that. Those shouldn't be isolated instances, whatever that means. Just so impressed. And he does seem unflappable. I do get that how that can be kind of cliche. Oh, he's California cool and stuff like that. If you look at the guy, he's pretty boot. So I could not be more impressed. And also his arm is really strong. This is one thing I know when he rolls to his left and throws those darts on a line, one was to Tate, one was to Claire. He can throw the deep ball. And people were complaining how he threw the deep ball the first few games of the year. I'm like, do you have access to cable? That's just the numbers for his deep balls. He was 9 for 9 on his first ever 20 yards, first 9 passes of his career, at least traveling 20 yards. What more are we asking for here? So I'm almost a little worried. It's too good. It's too good. Even look, the guys at PFF, they went through all the names and they're like, is he better than CJ Stroud was at this time? Because I know you put something out there. You got into a little tussle with somebody about that and who's, because they were saying, oh, you can't compare Sayin to Stroud. Oh, you can compare him to anybody now, what he's done. Anybody.
Yeah, I mean, Stroud, they had to air it out with Stroud through his first 4 games. Now, through their first 5 games. And for Sayin, through his first 4 games, they had the best defense in the country. They still do. We're going to get to that. So there was no need to have Sayin go in there and air it out. Stroud had to air it out as a redshirt. Remember that Oregon game? And then Stroud's redshirt freshman year. Then Kerry Combs got demoted from defensive coordinator the next week. Matt Barnes got promoted to defensive coordinator. I've never seen that at Ohio State. That shows you how bad that defense was. Yeah, man. And another thing about Sayin that I've been impressed with, and I just needed to see it first, he's tough. He's a tough guy. He can take a hit. But also, what the biggest thing is when there's pressure in his face, he'll stay right in there. We had Brass Tacks mentioned.
We saw it.
He just throws to Max Clay where he's just getting busted in the mouth, and he just stands in there like it's nothing. It reminds me, another guy that I've said he reminds me of, way better version, Joe Germain.
I know it.
Joe Germain would do the exact same thing, man. He'd stay they played in that Sugar Bowl against Florida State one year, the 1997 season, and Joe Germain was just getting beat the crap out of by that great Florida State D-line. Never flinched. He was
that Andre Wadsworth?
Oh, yeah. I mean, remember, Joe Germain had that bloody chin. He just kept getting smacked, and it didn't bother him. And now, Sayin's much better than Joe Germain. Joe Germain was a hell of a good quarterback here, but, not really until maybe – he was good as a third-year sophomore. He was good as a fourth-year junior. He should have been the starter over Stanley Jackson those entire years, but whatever. I'm over it. And then it was fantastic in 1998 when he finally was the full-time starting quarterback. But Sayin is just – I'm just so damn impressed with him, man. Everything. I'm impressed with everything about him. The toughness. He's even running a little bit now. Love it. I always knew he could run. I knew he wasn't a statue, but I was wondering if Day would let him run,
Running quarterback, we all agree, very, very advantageous to have a running quarterback. That said, design quarterback runs we didn't do that as much for Will Howard as people might remember. I don't think that happened very often. And I say this all the time. Justin Fields did not run the ball here in his last year. He ran it a few times, but they were in Gunnar Hoke mode, meaning we do not want to break glass in case of emergency.
Right.
So the idea that he was some running quarterback, that's just not accurate. In fact, PFF even put it out. I think Fields and Stroud both finished second in accuracy their last season here. So apparently we can coach quarterbacks too.
Not bad. They can only start recruiting wide receivers. That might be a good little combination there. Oh, wait. And by the way, did you see yesterday? It's like Emeka Egbuka, everybody, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Garrett Wilson had a touchdown from Justin Fields. Chris Olave's got a terrible quarterback throwing him the ball. He still had a good game. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a big game, 4 catches for 98 yards. It's just, and then I think Carnell Tate was pretty good on Saturday.
I was going to say that was like, hey, Carnell, we're going to take this game, and in the first 15 minutes, we're going to guarantee you're a Thursday night guy, just so everyone can see it. And then we'll splice that together with some Emeka highlights. And you should move up nicely. He's clearly a first-round draft pick, dude. He was running by those defensive backs like they weren't there. Like, I know that there's some top-end speed questions about Carnell. Those questions, no need. And this is just – it's not even worth looking up because it's a record. If he's picked in the first round, that will be 6 straight drafts with a first-round receiver, okay? And then you throw in the fact that one of the guys in that group could have been transferred out and was still picked in the first round in Jamison Williams. So
right.
You need a mulligan to get you over the top. It's just, and what you said is so true. If you sit down and watch the NFL Red Zone, for those of you who have been living under a rock, it's basically just no commercials, all the meat of all the games. It's like, oh, there's J.K. Dobbins. There's Chris Olave. There's Davon Hamilton. It's incredible, dude.
Quinshon Judkins. I found myself rooting for the Browns yesterday morning. I'm a Bengals fan. I don't root for. I don't hate the Browns. I have so much hate for the Ravens. I save it for them. Sometimes the Steelers. Although I have some friends that are Steeler fans. But the Browns, I found myself rooting for the Browns. You got Denzel Ward. You have barbecue back there. You didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings. I love Quinshon Judkins.
I love him. Dave, he's been my guy.
It's like once the Browns, I know they're trying to like keep him fresh and stuff. Once they put like other running backs in, you got on Twitter, people are like, "What the hell is going on? Why is Jerome Ford in the game?" Ford actually played decent. Like, why? Dylan Sampson doesn't look like he's an NFL running back at all. And then Quinshon goes in there. They knew that he was going to run, and he's still in there just breaking tackle. He's so damn good.
He's just what you want out of an NFL back. He's also, as I watch him and I remember this, you know what's not fun? Tackling Quinshon Judkins. You may get kneed in the balls. You may get kicked in the head. He's just a muscle with edges. You know what I'm saying? Just coming through there. And by the way, in terms of fans, go on Twitter to anything related to the Patriots, and they're ready to storm the castle to get Henderson in the game more. They've got Ramondre Stevenson and then Antonio Gibson, who both literally put Vaseline on the ball before they play and have their whole career. People are freaking out to get Henderson in there. So it's pretty darn impressive, man. I wonder if we're at our zenith. I told you that. This might be the zenith of the program. Because what they're doing now, winning the national championship, replacing a ton of dudes, and then being clearly the best teams, we talked about this. That's like Bama in its prime, right? So I'm super confident in the Buckeyes. Last year was the first year I really thought, we actually have player for player the best team. I was close that one year, but the Joe Burrow LSU team was lingering out there, so I can't say that for sure. Maybe it would have been. But I don't think there's a better team than ours. Like when I go player for player, I'm like, well, what about this? Oh, what about that? Oh, what about Matt Patricia? What about Jim Knowles? Did I just sneak that in there? You're damn right I did.
UCLA.
So
later.
I don't know. And like we talk about, and I know there are people who aren't happy with recruiting. I don't get it. I think they earn the benefit of the doubt. But look, you need look across the country. You need a great quarterback, and you need a great passing game to open everything up. We've got quarterbacks in the pipeline in perpetuity almost. And by the way, if you were going to go play quarterback or receiver, where would you want to go if you're coming up right now? Where do you think your dad wants you to go? Where do you think your dad's accountant wants you to go? Okay. And then you add in the fact that it's not going to change. They've got the number one receiver in the next class, and they have the number one receiver in the next class. And by the way, they're different styles. When you have Chris Henry and Jameer Brown on the field together, that's going to be a freak show. So Sayin has to stay another year, at least. You know what I mean? And there are already chicken commercials in my town with the backup quarterback.
I've seen that too. I've seen that. Those are in Dayton as well, huh? You got Lincoln Keenholz.
Oh, no, he's a Dayton boy now. Bell Fountain's in our footprint. So,
you mean Tavian St. Clair? I thought you meant Lincoln Keenholz. I got
you. So we don't see. I guess for backups, it has to be a little more regional. You know what I'm saying? But we're talking about that's all three quarterbacks doing commercials. I love when they do like the actual NIL, how it's supposed to be, like the commercial with Will Howard and Jack Sawyer for Canes. Not to give Canes free advertising, but I just did. It was hilarious because like Sawyer would go in there and order everything off the menu. Will Howard would look at him like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I ate before I came." Like, no, I mean you're ordering too much food, not you're ordering not enough. After he orders everything off the menu. All right, yeah. So I tell you what, man, Ohio State had the number 4 recruiting class in the country, the 25. Dare I say they were underrated. For example, I could go through a number of people. Like Bo Jackson was the number 11 running back in the country, according to 24/7 Sports. He was number 10 according to the composite. You're telling me that there's 10 running backs better than Bo Jackson in the country, or 9 better? I got a question for you, Dave.
Nope.
How about this? We talk about salary cap football, and we agree, I think, that everyone does now, that we're in the salary cap era, right? So we talk about the professionalization of college football. So it's just a matter of how far you want to take that comparison. I got a question for you. Has Bo Jackson been so good and he's so young should we pay a running back in the next freshman class? Because
Hey,
that's
pay him
how
like
NFL teams work now. Would you agree? They have a
You got to
depth
pay him
chart.
something. I mean,
You know what I
can't
mean.
just I know what
You
you
know what I
mean.
mean.
Are you going to pay like a running back $1 million to come here? No, not when you have Bo Jackson. You're
I
going to
agree.
try and
Now,
find
what
somebody who's
happens
just
if
really
they-
good at come here. I almost said for only $500,000. What in the hell has happened? I'm happy for the kids, though, man. I'm happy for the kids. But it's crazy to say out loud things
More
like
power
that.
to them. And let you know how
My
much-
brain went to maybe we can maybe get a kid just to take $500,000 per year to come play college football. But
it's
that's where
hard to
we're
get
at,
your
man.
mind around, but go to a game, you know this, and see that there's about 7 billion people there drinking and spending money and wearing jerseys. There, that's about it. Let me tell you something. The people who used to get rich off NIL are still rich. Okay.
Right. I think we know one.
No one's missing a meal because they're not getting that cut anymore. Okay?
We know a couple. But we know one. We know one very well. I don't think. Yeah, I think when he makes donations to the program, it's not like he then has to like eat like ramen noodles for the next week. He's okay.
Unless he bought a ramen noodle factory and was just tasting a product.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Do they serve that at the deli? Okay. Anyway,
No,
moving
they
right
do serve
along.
booze now.
Yeah.
All the best. Full
So,
on
like,
bar there.
There you
Happy hour
go.
specials.
I still haven't been. I got to go. Next time I'm in Dayton, I got to actually go, and I'm going to tell Leah ahead of time. I don't need a handout, but I do need to check it out.
Brass tacks.
For great things about his deli. So no surprise there. If he does something, he's going to do it well. That's what he's always done. Throughout his career with everything he's touched. Love Mr. Bucknuts. If you guys don't know who we're talking about Lee Shear, Mr. Bucknuts. All right. So I look at this freshman class. I mean, Jake Cook's a pretty good example.
Stud.
I just don't understand, so the staff's very high on Jake Cook. He might, play in 4 games or less this year, and I think they want to redshirt him, but if injuries happen, I think he'd be ready to go. So Jake Cook didn't even have a ranking by 24/7 Sports. National. Didn't even have a national ranking. He was ranked as the number 21 player in Ohio. There are 20 players better in the state of Ohio than Jake Cook. It's interesting. I don't think Ohio State's coaches would agree with that. It was ranked as the number 34 interior offensive lineman in the country. There's 33 better interior offensive linemen in the country last year. That's crazy. It's also not true. You can go on and on. So we know Bo Jackson's now a starter. Devin Sanchez has been playing a ton since game 1. He was the freshman that was playing the most. Just Bo has now become the starting running back. Devin's playing a ton, which says a lot because they're stacked in the secondary. As I said in my piece, man, I think Riley Pettijohn, if he needed to be a starter right now, would be a good starter as a true freshman. I have no doubt about that. But
He was 18 years old.
I think Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles are the best linebacker combination I've seen at Ohio State since Pepper Johnson and Chris Spielman. Pepper Johnson and Chris Spielman in 1985. That's the best.
And if you saw those guys in a room together, you would think it's those two guys, Pepper and Chris, standing with 2 defensive tackles.
No doubt. I mean, and I think TJ Alford's going to be a good one. Jarquez Carter's been playing a lot, adding good depth there at 3 tech. Nate Roberts is playing mostly as a fullback, but you have the
Zion Grady.
I like to remember Zion Grady, exactly. And hopefully Kenyatta Jackson's okay. I was worried. Pat and I were talking on the post-game show. It's like, no, they're not going to come out and say what happened. They didn't say he had a concussion last time. It looked like he was knocked out. This time it looked like it was a head injury. He was a little woozy.
It was one of those, yeah.
He's had 2 concussions within a month. I'm a little worried about him, but I tell you what, Zion Grady is ready to roll. And I like
also,
yeah. And just let me mention a few other guys. Fahim Delane is another one that's adding depth there. Isaiah West, I think he's going to be good. They're getting him some playing time. We'll see. He's played in 2 games now, so they could do one of those things where they play him in 4 games or less and still redshirt him. But I don't know. I mean, are we sure C.J. Donaldson's better than Isaiah West? I'm not sure. Quincy Porter looks like he's going to be a star, and he might have Tavian St. Clair throwing him the ball in 2027. I love this freshman class. I know I'm leaving guys out like Carter Lowe, who have a lot of potential. Just the 25 is delivering, my friend.
Yeah. So not only that, to add to that, I think with the advent of the NIL and everything, everyone getting paid, it's just, I don't know how to say, concentrated everyone's focus on recruiting and player evaluation and development has just become more important, and they're really good at it. When you look at a team, you say, okay, this is how I judge coaching, and one of the ways I judge coaching. When you look at your team, this is for your pro team or your college football team, or even if you root for basketball teams, who's having a good year? If you start to be like, well, this guy, and all of a sudden you go through the entire starting lineup, you're like, maybe they're just well coached. Then do it for a team that's not well coached and say, who's having a good year for them? And you're like, well, he's kind of behind. Maybe he'll pick it up. And you're like, wait a minute. Maybe they're not that well coached. If everyone on your team is having a good year, something's going right. So ask yourself this question. Who in Ohio State do you think has struggled this year?
CJ Donaldson, maybe. I hate to pick on him. And I tell you what, I mean, I have to see the PFF grades this week. The previous week at Washington, Tywone Malone and Edric Houston graded out poorly. But, like, you have to pick nits here. I mean, like, CJ Donaldson's not playing bad. It's just that Bo Jackson's clearly better than him. It's not like CJ Donaldson's a bad player. Like, I don't want him on the team. I'm glad he's on the team. I'm glad Tywone Malone's on the team. I'm really glad Edric Houston's on the team. So I think eventually they're going to get him playing up to his potential.
They both flashed more in the last game, I thought.
I'm one of
guys
the guys that likes PFF. Like, I know it's not, the gospel, but like people are, well, how do they know what the play is? These guys are football experts. More often than not, they know what the assignment is for the player. They can tell. This is what they do for a living. I like PFF. Again, I know it's not perfection, but it gives you a good idea of who's standing out and who's not. And I'm curious to see the grades this week. So I agree. I think that at first blush, I thought Malone and Edric played better. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like backup running back isn't impressing you. 3-tech DT isn't up to snuff, but you got like an absolute beast next to you in Caden McDonald. They're putting even Caden Curry's moving inside at times. Caden Curry's playing great at defensive end. So that mitigates it when you've got these other great players on the defensive line. This team is stacked, man.
Highest rated PFF player from the game on their. So I guess they do first round, they do grades, and they go back and do it again. You know who the highest rated player in Ohio State was from the win against Minnesota?
Somebody saying
it wasn't Joe Montana.
I never said Donaldson fell forward every time. I don't know what Cody on YouTube says. It's wild how the tune has changed on Donaldson from week one. Talk about how he fell forward every time, and now it's that he can't get a tough yard. I never said he fell forward every time. Even the first week he wasn't breaking tackles. At one point he had like 4% missed tackle rate, where Bo Jackson was at 33%. I think that was after 2 games. I was never saying that CJ Donaldson always fell forward. It was the exact opposite. I was seeing him get knocked backwards. I was hoping small sample size, hopefully, but now we just see it. He's all the time getting knocked backwards at 232 pounds. You can't just look at a guy's weight and say, oh, he's a power back. No, I've seen 205-pound guys that are power backs, low to the ground, and they're just boom. Bo Jackson at 217 pounds, I wouldn't call him a power back. He's just a fantastic back. He can get those tough yards. He's always falling forward, always. So that must have been on a different podcast, because I sure never said CJ Donaldson was always falling forward.
I got a lot of Bo Jackson texts from my NFL guy during the game. And one thing he's slippery. Is that a term? For a guy that's 217 pounds, he's slippery. He's hard to tackle. Does that make sense? Like it's hard to quantify that until you watch the game, but like he's just kind of, yes, I get he's big, strong, and fast. He has nice vision, but he's kind of slippery. I don't know. He has that way of like not taking a huge hit. Now I say that he'll get rocked, but yeah. And that's another thing about recruiting. I've been here when we got the Bo Jackson commitment. It did not crash the site. Okay. I always used to use the Pat Elflein or Darren Lee examples. Nobody cared when we got them. They were happy. They were like, oh, good recruit, but he's only a 3-star. You can't have on a roster. I know we recruit great and pay great. No roster is built of just 4 stars. That doesn't make any sense. Just if you aren't trusting in the team's approach right now, and I know because the big defensive lineman from Dallas committed over the weekend and didn't come here, Jalen Brewster. I get it. He went to Texas Tech. We've been through this before, by the way. Texas A&M signed every defensive tackle in one class. LT Overton, I think, is playing for Alabama. Go through that list. When you pay a ton of freshmen at one position, all that money, they're not only competing with each other, they're competing with the vets on the team they make more money than. That will not work long term. So rest in the benefit of the doubt. Also, Kerry Wilder, the one defensive end they did a commitment for, look at his ranking since he committed. There are people now who think he's the best defensive end in the class. So I think we do just need to – I get it's Bucknuts, and if you're ever going to vent your spleen, we want it to be here on our message board. But I do think the team in general deserves the benefit of the doubt. And I don't even get into the coaching staff. Matt Patricia literally when I see him on the TV, the sound of minstrels comes up. It's like, ah, and I get to go to the Nittany Lions boards and hear them complain about Jim Knowles adjusting. And it's funny is their narrative are now like, the Ohio State people said we were screwed for the first year. And they're like, they were right. It's not cool. He's not making his money. So, man, oh man,
that was insane. I thought Penn State was going to go out there and crush UCLA. I was like, okay, get well week for Penn State, fast track at the Rose Bowl. You got all the interns coaching for UCLA. I'm like, who's that kid that looks like a
Rick
baby Neuheisel? Like, oh, that's Rick Neuheisel's son.
You're right.
All in place. Turns out he's pretty good at it.
Yeah. Rick Neuheisel's a pretty good coach now.
I can't believe. Yeah, if you go back and look what he did at Colorado and Washington, he had a good record. He did not have a good record at UCLA, but overall he had a good record at Colorado.
Hard to go Washington.
Home. Good guy to have in an NCAA March Madness pool too. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. But yeah, that's crazy. That's almost like, even talking about it now 2 days later, it's like unbelievable. They gave it 42 points to freaking UCLA, who everybody was saying is going to go 0-12. Like, they had like a more than a 50% chance of going 0-12 after they started, 0-4, and they beat Penn State.
What's Neuheisel's, the younger one's first name?
Is it Jerry?
First of all, great name for a young guy. Rick Neuheisel and Jerry Neuheisel. And you're like, Rick's the dad? Rick and Jerry? That makes no sense. He only was in charge for 2 days. It wasn't like he's like been bred to do this. He was in charge for 2 days.
That was my best bet on Friday show.
On Penn State.
I'm an idiot. Do the opposite of whatever I say for the best bet with J Book on Friday's show.
Can I give you my thing on Penn State? When we were talking about columns, I don't know if you remember this. We were talking about this earlier, and I was thinking, here's maybe one we should do that I don't buy it on Penn State, and here's why. I think people just fell into the narrative of people coming back because Michigan did it. Then we did it. And they're like, oh, it's the Big Ten. They're bringing everybody back. Here's the problem. Their two best players aren't on the team anymore. Okay. Tyler Warren, is he a good pro?
Pretty good.
Abdul Carter, is he a good pro?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the first round draft picks on the Penn State right now? Deny Dennis Sutton? No, dude. No.
Everybody had Drew Aller as a first round pick, along with Arch Manning and Cade Klubnik. Man, people that ranked quarterbacks coming in this year.
They just got late. That's a lazy narrative. Yeah, right. Lazy narrative. They don't. Who's the best player on Penn State? Those running backs. I watched the game, dude.
I like Allen.
Neither of those running backs is that good. I'm sorry.
Singleton's not good at all. I don't know why they split carry. I think Allen's pretty good.
Okay, but two guys that are going to build a championship run with that quarterback on, that is just narrative gone wild. That is like people just. That is just. There's not based in accuracy. Like, who on the team is that good? Even when they were like, they had the offensive line was Olo Fashanu, and they had like legit big time. Abdul Carter is a big time football player. Tyler Warren, ESPN had him as the rookie of the year right now. When was the last time did Brock Bowers get rookie of the year? He was good too. I'm just saying.
It's still pretty rare though.
They didn't replace those guys. There's no explosiveness. The last guy that scared me on Penn State besides Tyler Warren was KJ Hamler. Like, KJ Hamler scared me. Who scares you on Penn State's offense? Trevor Pena? He can't even spell his first name correctly. That's ridiculous. I'm serious. I don't get it. That's really lazy, a really lazy narrative by the media. And we do it, I would think, in this particular grassroots approach, I think we were a little more accurate, and people didn't like Ohio State. And what they said was, oh, you changed both coordinators. You got 8 new starters on defense. I know.
It's working out pretty well for us too. We are
exactly
still basking. I mean, bask level extreme.
No,
I love it, man. It's just, you said that this is the zenith. Hopefully it's like, we're just maybe starting the dynasty.
No, we can keep racing it.
Yeah. We're in the zenith, but we're just going to keep.
Who's the second? Like, we agree Ohio State's the best team.
Yeah, I'd say Oregon's too, and I know everybody like Miami. I like Miami. I like Texas Tech, but I think Ohio State and Oregon are in their own tier.
Really?
With Ohio State 1, Oregon 2. I wasn't sure about Dante Moore.
Yeah, I'm still not.
He showed me. I mean, the poise that he showed at that wideout was so damn impressive. And his father was a cool cat too. So it's he went to high school with his father, Othamore, a couple years older than me. He was a year or two older than me. Very nice guy. He was from Detroit. His dad must have got a job briefly in the Dayton area. Moved to Beaver Creek for a few years and moved back to Detroit. So I can see where he gets his cool, calm, and collected nature from. That's how Otha was for sure. Good guy. But man, to go into that wideout, I've seen like Troy Smith get rattled there. Troy Smith was like as mentally tough as they came. And that 05 game, man, it was crazy. That's not the only reason they lost that 05 game, but I'm impressed with Dante Moore for sure.
I was too, but who were the first round draft picks on Penn State's defense?
Yeah, I hear you. I
don't see it. And I really hope Chip Kelly has like the secret sauce on how to beat Dante Moore for Ryan, considering he was his, freshman year head coach. Just some picadillos in there that you can work with. But I tell you what, man, Miami's defense does get after it now. They got some guys up front who can really get after it. Ruben Bain is good. I think we've overdone it. Now he's like Dwight Freeney. No chance Lance Ito. But they're really good. I'm not a Carson Beck guy either. I know he's played well. I do not like quarterbacks who do goofy things. I'm sorry. I had a conversation with my NFL guy about quarterbacks. I didn't like Robert Griffin wearing socks. I don't like, he was like wearing those party socks and said like business on the left, party on the right about his socks. I'm like, I'm out on him now. I was out on, I hate to say this, he went to Gonzaga High, but Caleb Williams, I don't understand why the quarterback's just painting his nails and doing all that goofy stuff. And now, who's the third one we talked about being silly? I don't know, man. I just don't want my quarterback to be a car. Oh, Nico Iamaleva showed up for his first 7-on-7 camp after being ranked number 1, wearing pajama bottoms. I'm like, I'm out. So quarterbacks, you got to be a little bit more chill to me. I say that. Come on. I'd like you to be a bit more by the book and just run the plays. And we got that guy for good gracious. By the way, Keenholz messed up that first play. When he got back in, he was not getting stopped.
I've always said you can be a diva, and be a really good NFL wide receiver. You can be a diva and be a really good corner.
Defensive
you
end.
Be a diva and be a good quarterback in most cases. People will say Aaron Rodgers, and I hear you, but I would submit Aaron Rodgers didn't really become a diva until after he won a Super Bowl. He didn't
also,
really
they're human beings. There's an exception to every rule.
You look at exactly, and you look across the NFL right now. Do you see any divas that are excellent quarterbacks, or do you see the best quarterbacks are guys like Patrick Mahomes?
I think you could even make the argument that, like, even take someone like Baker Mayfield. He tamped down the Baker, and now it's just like Baker. Now he's always going to be Baker. He's got a little something to him, but it took him 4 stops to find the right spot, personality-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to wait 4 stops, especially if I draft him first overall. I'd like him to make 1 stop, my stop. So
yeah, all right, yeah, we need to cool off here. It is going to cool off here. I was not. First of all, I made a rookie decision. I wore a dress shirt before the game, and it was hot as hell out there. It was hotter, like markedly hotter than it was for the Texas game. I spent the offseason saying it's so stupid they're playing this game at noon. It's going to be like in the mid-90s. Late August in Columbus, and it was like beautiful. It was like mid-70s, a little bit of wind. It was hot as heck out there, man. I was like, I'm not a big sweater. I was like sweating. I had a dress shirt on. I'm like, what was I thinking here? At least Tim May also wore a dress shirt, so he's no rookie. Tim May is no rookie, so the fact that he did it too, I didn't feel quite as bad. But man, I was sweating there, talking to Buck Rational and Asian Posh Doreen and all the good people. You got to stop by, man. You got to stop by sometime and meet all of our friends here in person. Buck Rationals are like the entire show.
I'm waiting for Mr. Bucknuts to give me the bat phone approach.
There you go.
Which is where you get the tickets, and he has the money parking spot, so you can get out through like the Secret Service tunnel and beat the crowd. Yeah, man, the weather. Listen, you won't catch me complaining about the Gem City, dude. It is literally, as I look out right now, sunny, crisp, nice morning. Yeah, we had a football game in town the other night. T-shirt the whole time, and it was great. So I would let this go. I would live in, if I could have San Diego weather here all the time. It's like Mr. Bucknut said, when it was 75 and sunny, he's like, if it was 75 and sunny in Dayton every day, we'd have 800,000 people living here. This just in, we don't have 800,000 people living here. About a quarter of that at best.
They've all moved to Columbus, apparently. No, it's not. I tell you what, they keep saying eventually Columbus traffic is going to be like Atlanta now. I'm like, let's not ever get there. I don't want to do that. They mean like a long time. And Atlanta traffic is awful. I don't even want to hear that. That's when we were allegedly going to be like the semiconductor capital of the United States, and that Intel thing.
Or not.
They're saying, well, maybe, who knows? Not to get political, but like now the government owns 10%, NVIDIA owns part of it. So maybe it'll actually get up and running. It was supposed to open this year. And now it's 2030 at the earliest, just a bit outside.
Yeah,
my kids eventually happens.
My kids go to Denison, and that was going to be like everyone was moving out to Granville and Newark, and they're like, "What? They're not building it? That's not great."
I think eventually it'll get built, but yeah. So hopefully, but yeah, I mean, Columbus, man, it keeps growing and growing and growing. I love Columbus. All right, and I love doing this show. Thank you to Dan Rubin. Thanks to all of you. We appreciate it very much. Get on Bucknuts. Check our stories out. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. It's like, what is it, Dan? Like 30 cents a day, something like that. It comes out to,
It's a wonderful
deal. Bucknuts. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to the podcast. That helps us as well. So thanks to everybody. We appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Go Bucks. And I know that you are still basking.